Okay, so this class is in continuation of the earlier class which I send you the video demonstration. There is a live demonstration of how to collect the bundle series samples, and you have all probably have seen this particular video by this time. So you have seen how to collect the bundle series samples. If you have any questions, you can send me directly, or we can interact some other time. But it's better you can send me directly if you have any queries. So this bulk density sampling is extremely important for a soil physics student or a researcher, because it is the way you are collecting a undisturbed soil samples. So I am bringing you that particular code which we have collected from the field, and this is the code which we have collected. This I have kept it in the freezer for at 4 degrees centigrade temperature. So you have seen that there is an arrow that I have explained you. This arrow means it is moving down. So this part is up, this part is down. When you are taking the samples, so definitely the samples has come up like this. So when you are doing some kind of conductivity measurements, passing some solute or solution through this, then you have to keep the code just like that. It cannot be in the reverse direction. Okay, so that will be wrong, because whatever the pore continuation is there, that is built up like this. And this is called, I told you earlier that this is called a representative soil sample, because this represents the field condition, and this is an undisturbed soil sample. This is not disturbed. So what we are assuming that all those pores, their arrangements, their continuation, the matrix, soil matrix, everything is intact, whatever is found in the field. Okay, now we will do some measurements or some determination of some soil physical parameters. Now at this point of time, I will tell you, before I am going into that one, there are two terms which are used interchangeably. Means people are using it very loosely. One term is called parameter, and another term is called your one is your parameter, and second term is a property, because these two terms are always used in a kind of similar fashion. You can use this one, you can use that, but there is a slight difference. So the property is something which you own. Okay, you can see the dictionary. So this is own. So that means, suppose if I say that your what is called temperament is very cool. So that means that's a kind of property which you have. Somebody's temperament are not that cool. Or I will say that you have a very athletic means build up body. So your body is very much built up. It is just like that you can run very fast, and you are an athlete kind of thing. So it's a property. So that is owned by you. Now the parameter is something which is required to characterize this property. Okay. So what I will say that if you are suppose a well built up person, a athletic, so I will say okay. So you can run 100 meter in say 20 seconds or something like that. So that means you take only that much of seconds. So that's a parameter to show you your strength or your fastness or your body build up or some other characteristics. So similar is the way that if you say property of a soil, sometimes I would say, for example, the bulk density. I would rather prefer the bulk density to call as a parameter, not as a property, because bulk density is something which you are quantifying. It's a value. Its value, suppose if I am giving it say 1.5 and if I am giving it say 1.8, definitely this is lower than that 1.8. So if the bulk density of a soil or a layer is 1.5, that means the soil is loose compared to this soil. So that looseness or the compactness, this is a property. I would rather say the bulk density is a parameter which gives the property of which property, because the soil is either compact or it is loose or like that, or it is a normal case. Okay, so remember that. I have no problem if you are using this interchangeably, there is no issue, but there is a little gap that I must tell you that there is a little difference. So the parameter is something by which you want to characterize this one. This is some kind of quantification. You need to classify that one. I will say that okay, the parameter is that whether you are master's class or you are in a PhD scholar. So that's the parameter. So by which I am classifying the students based on the master's and PhD. That is your level of education. So that's the parameter. Your say the from the which state you are coming. So that's the parameter. So it is by classifying that you are from different states. So this is kind of, or your height, your weight, all those things are parameter. So these are classified. But this is also a property to some extent because we sometimes do not use it in a proper way. But this is what I just wanted to share with you. Now, this is, I'm quickly going through this particular samples which we have collected. Okay, so let me come to that. Now these samples which what we will try, we will do that. One is that we will have several soil physical parameters from this particular code. Okay, so what you have to do is first follow the steps what you have to do, and then you can automatically know that what are the different parameters which you are going to what is called that determine. Okay, so first of all, what you have to do is that, so the first step is you have to take the fresh weight of this. So first is that fresh weight of core plus soil, or you can write the core plus fresh soil weight, whatever. So it is the fresh weight of both the things, so core and soil. So I am writing it is that W1. And then you have second, you need to give it now. You need to take that. Now what you have to do? Take that particular soil into an aluminium box. Why I am saying that? Because now you are going to dry that soil. And if you are putting it into that core, then definitely you will have a problem of drying the soil which is at the inner side of this core. So the inner side of the cores will not be dried up even if you are keep it for a longer period of time. So in order to ensure a complete drying, you have to take all the samples, soil samples from the core, where in my case it is a brass core. From this core, transfer it to an aluminum can, and once you are transferring it to an aluminum can, then you can place it in the oven and it will be completely dry. So you take soil to aluminum can. Okay, this is what you have to do. So I am not saying that what you have to do, you have to take an empty weight of the aluminum can, then you have to transfer the soil to the aluminum can, take the weight because that's your fresh weight, and then you have to put it into the oven and then take the dry. So you can take the fresh of core plus soil like this, or you can take the soil to the aluminum can. Whatever way you will get, the core plus fresh soil weight is W1. And then second one is you are drying that one, so you will get a oven dry weight. Now the oven dry, we recommend in the Indian condition that two night means complete 2 nights, 48 hours something. If your oven is not operating at night, that means if you are switching off at night, then you have to give 3 days. So if you start today in the morning, so you take on the third day post lunch period, then you will ensure that there is a completely dry. So you gives a little bit of more time. So after that, once you are taking it, so it is an oven dry, and your temperature you fix it. This is important. The temperature you fix it at 105 degrees centigrade, because at this point the water which is very much adhering to the soil particles or absorbed to the soil particles, that will try to come out. It's 100 degrees centigrade is not coming. So this is what suggested, because people have done so many experiments and they have suggested that okay, keep at 105 degrees centigrade, then you are ensuring that you are almost drying up, except very some hygroscopic water which is more than 31 bar or so, then those water is very difficult to take them out. So this oven dried soil, that means you take the weight, and then this is W2, and then you have to take the empty core weight, because the core is there, or you can have this aluminum can, so you need not to have this core weight here, but the core weight will definitely is required. So empty core weight, I will put it as W3. So it's just a simple calculation. What you have to get is that if you subtract 1 minus if you subtract W1 minus W3, so you will get the fresh soil weight. Okay, I will write it as FW, fresh soil. If you are getting it, suppose in this case it's a oven dried soil, W2, and then so W2 is your oven dried soil. So there I will write it here, is that W2 is your, so remember that if you are taking it in the aluminum can, you have to take the empty aluminum can weight, and then you have to subtract that. So that's, I think that you all can understand. What I am saying is that this is the oven dried soil weight. Okay, so this one W2. So this is, I will write this as dry weight, DW. So this is fresh weight and this is DW. So now if you subtract these two, then you will be getting that, so FW minus DW is your moisture content. So I will write it moisture content. This is a gravimetric basis. So I will write G by G percentage. Now this percentage will not come unless you get a soil weight. So here you will only get the moisture content which is in gram. Okay, so this moisture content is coming in gram. So this is in gram. And then you have to take this dW. So it is simply that it comes MC by dW is basically gives your moisture content in gram. So gram of water divided by the gram of soil. Gram of soil means what? Oven dry soil. So then you will get it that percentage of water G by G. Okay, so got my point. Now, so this is what you will be getting a gravimetric water content. So water content, gravimetric and volumetric, these are having only difference with the bulk density. So my first parameter I got is gravimetric moisture content. So I will write it here that I will get the first parameter is my gravimetric moisture content. So this is percentage G by G. Now the second parameter. Now you have got the oven dry soil weight. So now if you have got the oven dry soil weight, right, you remember that the bulk density is simply the soil divided by the soil volume. Soil means soil weight divided by the soil volume. And that soil weight is only your what? That's the oven dry soil weight. So this is the soil which you are taking, the oven dry. So this is what we learned bulk density. So we know the bulk density is you are taking the oven dry soil. And I told you that it's a dry bulk density. If you go very specifically, so there are two. One is wet bulk density, BD, and second one is a dry bulk density. Okay, so I am putting it, okay, let it be only two. This is second parameter, because these two are all bulk density. For the weight, simply you have to take the fresh soil weight. So fresh weight of soil and divided by the volume. I am coming the volume part. Volume of soil core or volume of soil I am writing. And here you will have simply the dry soil weight and divided by volume of soil. Okay, so these two you already have done this. So volume of soil is important. That volume of soil is what? The volume of soil. The volume of soil is equal to the volume of core. How do you get the core? Core volume. This is the core. It's a cylindrical shape. So in this cylindrical shape, you have a height h and you have a radius which is r. So now it's a simply pi r squared h is your volume. Okay, now I will tell you, because this is all known to you. I am just putting the things in proper perspective, but the important point is, okay, I am taking this code, this is an empty code. So the best way to take is that you use this a very specific measurements you need to take. So you can use the vernier caliper. So this part, that's probably may not be available in all the cases. So I am giving you a very easy way to take that one. So what you have, and remember one thing, you need to take the inner diameter only, because you see there is a thickness, and that thickness is important. This thickness will at least give you some kind of wrong results if you are taking the outer diameter. So you have to take the inner diameter. So what you have to do, say this is a page, you place it there, okay, and then you, okay, I will use that particular, no, there is a pen, so I will use this one. So this is a pencil, so you have to take the inner. So you take a image of that one. That means you have to scan this. You have to take an imprint of that one. Okay. So this will give you the inner diameter. So it will be something like this, say, okay, it will be something like this. So remember that you have to take the inner diameter, that is one part. Similar way, so this is what you have to take is, in this way you can take this one and maybe one or two. So you have to take an average. So your imprint comes like this. Say your imprint comes like this, and then you take a scale. You take a scale and then take multiple readings. Okay, so this here, then you take like this, then you take like this, 4 or 5 readings you have to take multiple. So that means what I am saying is that you have to take readings like this here. You take something from this point to that point, then you take from this point to that point. It may not be that much symmetrical, but you take at least 4 or 5 points, because these are some of the very practical experience or kind of thing I am sharing with you. So in this way you will never be in a problem of taking the wrong, because the volume is extremely important. If the volume is little bit of increasing or decreasing, your bundle density is changing very fast. Okay, because this will not change much. This will change because of your wrong determination. So this way you are taking the R. So you take that, so you will get the 2R. So here you are taking the 2R. You take the R means half of this particular distance. So take an average there. Similar way, for the height also, you have to put it in here, and then you have to make an entry of this point and then this point. Okay, so you take using your scale or whatever. So you take this one length, and then you take several 1, 2, 3, 4 like that, and take an average. This is a very precisely made by a very famous supplier, this manufacturer. So this I am 100% sure that this having completely symmetrical. But in many cases it may not be. Okay, so there must maybe a little bit asymmetrical, and that will give you some, because that's in your hand. So that you please try to be as specific as you can, because this is very simple, but these are the very critical things. So you will get a proper bundle density if your measurements are very fine, very precise. You get the volume of soil. So you divide that one, you will get. Okay. Now, so this is the second one parameter which I have explained to you, that the wet bundle density and dry bundle density. The third one is the porosity. Okay. Now for the porosity, you need to determine the particle density. You know, so this you can do in different ways. Okay, so I prefer that you do one thing. You first of all do the particle density. So the same sample you will be using, but this is having a certain protocol, a methods which I will be explaining to you in other classes. So this particle density means the same dry soil you will be taking. You will take 50 gram or 100 gram of this particular dry soil, and this we will be doing the particle density. So you will get a particle density value. So that we will use a pycnometer, and that is definitely we will have to have another class for that. So you get the particle density, you have the bulk density, you calculate the porosity. So this is, you said this is a derived one. So remember, these are all direct measurements. And porosity, when I am talking about the porosity, so I will get it as a 1 minus BD by PD, particle density and bulk density. So this is 1 minus that, and you can give it as a percentage, or you can use it as a decimal, suppose 0.3, 0.5, 0.27 like that. So this is a decimal, or you can express it in percentage. So this way is the porosity. So this is gravimetric, wet bulk density, dry bulk density, particle and the porosity. The fifth one which you have to do is, so remember this porosity is not direct measurement, it's a derived one because you have taken the bulk density, particle density. The fifth one is your volumetric water content. Now for the volumetric you can do in two ways. You can simply take the volume of the water. What is the volume of water? Volume of water simply as the mass of water. The mass of water is fresh weight minus dry weight. This is already you have got. So for the gravimetric moisture content calculation. So you take that as a volumetric water content, because the water is having a density, we take it as 1 gram per cc. So whatever the cc, it is the gram. So cubic centimeter, it's the gram. So it's the same way as the volume. So once it's a volumetric, it is the volume of water, then you have to only divide it by the pore volume. The pore volume is only the soil. So for the volumetric water content, you have to have a volume of water. So volume of water is same as your mass of water divided by your pore volume. Pore volume is only the soil volume. This is one way you can get it. Or you can simply multiply this gravimetric water content, like say percentage G by G, and multiply it with your BD. So you will get percentage V by V, which is the volumetric moisture. Any way you can do this. Both the way you are only calculating that. So here also it's a direct, because everything you are getting a direct way. So you are getting it this way, volumetric water content, by just taking this particular ratio, or you can simply go with the bulk density by to determine the volumetric water. Okay, fine. And then, so gravimetric water content, volumetric water content, porosity, particle density, bulk density, and there are 1 or 2 are left. Let me recollect. The sixth one would be probably the air filled porosity. So what is the air filled porosity? This is air filled porosity. Okay, so this air filled porosity is simply, I will write is FA. It will be what that? It will be total porosity F minus theta, moisture content, because the porosity, whatever is not there, whatever this water is not there, that's only the air it will be there. So it is air only in that particular pores where there is no water. So it's simply a subtraction. So you are taking Fa, that is the air filled porosity, which is a difference between the porosity F minus theta. Or you can determine by using the simple formula, that is your VA by VT. So the VA you will be getting the volume of air. So it is simply as the volume of, what is the volume of air? It is the volume of water which is not occupied by the water. So it will be simply the porosity minus your volumetric water. But in this case, it's only volume, remember. So as you are dividing it by VT, so what is VA? So the VA is simply your, this will be your volume of pores, I will write is VF minus volume of water divided by VT. What is this one? Is equal to VF by VT minus VW by VT. What is VF by VT? It is simply your F porosity, because it's all porosity of the total soil volume. It's not the void ratio. In the void ratio, it has to be VS, that is the soil solid. In porosity, it is the total volume by the voids or the pore spaces minus VW by VT. This is your theta. So it's the one or the other way, whatever you can do. So this is the sixth part. Okay, I think probably all those I have covered. These are all. So these are very basic physical parameters which, taking one sample from the field, one means taking for one time the sampling from the field, you are all getting that one. So, and this is very very fundamental, very very important, very basic thing which you must learn, because in this way all the soil physics everything is built. Okay, so this practical is the beginning of this course, your soil physics. So I have explained to you sampling how to do that, so follow that video and then do this particular calculation. I will send you some dummy data, of course taken from the field itself, but that's dummy for you. So you just try all those 6. Prepare a practical notebook. That practical notebook, it is the first one. It will be your practical, that is determination of soil physical parameters. Basic soil physical parameters. Determination of basic soil physical parameters. And then calculate all those things with the dummy data which I will be providing. But the dummy data, remember, this is as such as means this is the same as when you will be doing the practicals of yourself. So you are collecting the bulk density samples from the field, you are putting it into the oven in different fashion, taking it into the can, taking the pre-can weight and then putting it into the oven and then taking it out, all sorts of things you have to do. And the similar way I will provide you the data, so that at least you are not in a confusion on what to do and how to do. Okay, and then follow these very typical steps. This is very easy steps, but follow it, do it yourself, then you will never forget in your life. Okay, okay, so that's